This is the last thing I'm doing today. Just know it can't be a knockoff if it was never on to begin with. This is suspiciously looks like salmonella. Mostly True is the name of the channel. If it's good, I'll suggest it to my friends and family, most notably Skitten. If it's not, then we'll pretend like we never saw it. It was suggested, of course, on a Blue Jay video that we did recently. I put it on the queue to check out, forgot about it, and it popped up here. So here we are. Let's get into it. Most conventions we go to are there in San Fran. Now, it can be pretty sketch. The first time I went, it was so expensive, I had to stay in a very shitty hotel. And the thing about staying in shitty hotels when you go to San Francisco is they're really, really bad. The California is expensive. That doesn't make it more nice. And then when we got to where we're going, it was dirty. Pretty sketch experience all the way around. But I still had a fantastic time. The weather was amazing. So anyways, here we go.
So, when I was 18, I moved from the small town I grew up in to San Francisco. And I remember on the first night I moved into my apartment, my mom was helping me bring stuff in. Before she leaves, she's like, you know, San Francisco's a lot different than where we're from. It's pretty dangerous out there, so don't go wandering around by yourself at night. And I'm like, yeah. What do you know about the streets, Mom? I'm pretty sure I can handle myself just fine. Because, you know, when you're 18, you kind of just imagine yourself as like the main character of your own movie. Nothing bad can possibly happen to you. Bad stuff only happens to the side characters, you know? So cut to 8 hours later, it's 3 a.m., and I'm absolutely jonesing for some Doritos. So I do exactly what my mom told me not to do, and I go wandering around looking for a 7-Eleven. And so now I'm fairly deep in a part of SF that I'm not all too familiar with. I walk past a couple of dudes who seem to be taking a dump in some sort of invisible toilet on the sidewalk. Never
Dude, this is such a funny story I have about
really seen anything like it, but hey, San Francisco's pretty high tech, so I ain't asking any questions. I turn onto a different street, and that's when I notice two dudes walking parallel to me, but on the other side of the street. I don't really think much of it at first. I give them an ocular pat down. Everything seems normal, and then I continue on my way. That is, until I notice they seem to be looking over in my direction a little too much.
Patting you down.
If you know what I'm saying. It's like, hey man, I'm occupying this general direction of space. This is my general direction. Don't be looking over here too much. You can maybe look over here a little bit, but y'all are doing too much looking. And then
hey man, don't pat down if you're not ready to get patted. Alright? That's the classic rule.
I look over, and I see one of them whisper something to the other guy. And then he physically points at me, you know, with his finger. And they both nod at each other, and then they start walking across the street directly at me. Now, I don't know how much wandering around at night by yourself you guys do, but that shit ain't normal. If two people whisper to each other, point at you, and then start walking towards you at 3 a.m., something bad is probably about to happen. And so in this moment, I'm actually scared shitless. Like, I actually thought I was about to get stabbed. So I'm considering all my options. Well, I am a green belt in karate, or maybe it was a yellow belt.
Good for you.
Actually, I was on the track team, and I know parkour. Fuck it, I'm about to parkour my ass out of here. They cross the street and start walking right next to me. And one of them goes, yo, man. And I'm like, hey. Hey. And he's like, I'm Kevin. This is Shane. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of sick fuck introduces himself to someone who he's about to stab with a knife? But I'm quaking in my boots. So I'm kind of just like, oh, what's up, dudes? How's it going? They make some random small talk about how their night is going. And then he asks me, yo, man, are you straight? And to my 18-year-old stoner psychonaut mind, for whatever reason, I think he means straight, as in straight edge. As in, do you do drugs?
Oh, straight means here, like, are you good? Or are you gay? But mostly, are you good?
Now I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're just trying to sell me some mushrooms or something. So I reply, nah, I ain't straight. I'll try pretty much anything. So he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a $20 bill, and he goes, yo man, do you want to jack off with us? And I'm like, what?
Get out of my face.
And he's like, I thought you said you try pretty much anything.
I lied.
And now I'm starting to connect the dots. When they asked if I was straight, they didn't care if I did any drugs. They were they meant straight as in like, am I gay or not? But let me just say, even if I was gay, I'm pretty sure being gay doesn't just like automatically mean you're down to like join in on a 3 a.m. alleyway circle jerk.
Right.
But in fairness to those two dudes, the fact that I responded to the question of, are you straight, with, nah, I ain't straight, I'll try pretty much anything, I can't blame them for thinking like, oh, dude, this is the guy, like, we found the guy, he's gonna be down to jack off with us.
Dude, I know those words haunt him for the rest of his life, but honestly, you have to ask yourself, what kind of energy are you giving off with your look, or maybe how you're approaching life, that they would just randomly come up and ask you that? You'd really got to figure that out, so this never happens to you again.
So I'm explaining the misunderstanding to these guys. I don't even know why the fuck I was still there. Like, I should have just ran away from the start. But for whatever reason, you know, I'm a naive ass 18-year-old, and so I'm like, oh, you know, just explaining the misunderstanding. And he's like, dude, you don't have to jack us off. We can just watch each other jack off, and we'll give you $20. And let's just say I came home that night with a few extra bags of Doritos. Family size, if you know what I'm saying. Nah, I'm just kidding about that part. I just, you know, respectfully declined, and they went on their way, and I ended up making it to the 7-Eleven. I secured the bag, made it home, and then I never went wandering around San Francisco at night by myself ever again, and I never told my mom that story, because she would have hit me with the biggest I told you so known to mankind. But
she knows now. She definitely knows now.
Now it's time for me to tell you something about my balls. Look at these balls. Do you see a single hair on them?
What are you talking about?
Because I've been using Manscaped's lawn
thought this was about the story.
mower. This video was sponsored by Manscaped. So, when I was 18, I moved from the small town I grew up. Trim those hedges is one way to do it. Longest time, they were just smooth again. Anyways, back to the story. I shouldn't have told my friends that story years ago when it first happened, because for the longest time they were just like, dude, you for sure took that $20.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I didn't,
no
dude. I didn't take the $20. But whatever. And so the moral of the story is, just listen to your mom. Guys, anyone watching, just listen to your goddamn mom.
Nice, man. Mostly true. That's fantastic. It's great because the story, of course, and the sequence that it happened, maybe not. But I can confirm to you, as a Las Vegasan, San Francisco is a very odd place. And things happen. I love these kind of stories where, like, the ending isn't incredible. What happened is just like, you've definitely never been through this. And it's one of those stories that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. And you can pull it out whenever you have anything interesting to talk about. Just go, people may not believe that this happened, but it did happen. The people whispering, pointing, and then walking over is comedy, dude. That's so comedy. Because I believe in San Francisco, people do that, man. It's a friendly city. But I think the thing with San Francisco is that people are way more free out there than they are with other people. I don't know if it's like the weather or whatever, but like there are an odd amount of eccentric individuals and people that come from San Francisco too. It never really leaves them. They're just like different. Like we all have like common understandings of how to treat people in public. And San Francisco is just different, man. Same thing with LA too, though. You go to LA, you're gonna find people treat you the exact same way, man. It's gonna be different out there. So yeah, I really appreciate that. All right, good tag. I'll take it. I'll pass that one along. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys want to hear another story, let me know. I'm cool with a one and done on that. I'll probably watch it on my own time. But if you guys want more reactions, let me know. He's got a couple different vids, so I'm down to check them out, man. All right, have a good one. Peace.